Okay, hi. Welcome to the very first segment of DVTV Live. I'm Tammy Nash. I'm the managing editor for Dallas Voice, and DVTV is our video segment, and now it's going to be live as well. Sorry, let me talk.
There you go.
Okay, we're going to start off today. I've got Brad Pritchett.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be here. Hi, Israel,
Hi,
Brandy,
how are you?
Tammy, the whole family.
Brad is our DVTV video host, and Brandy Amara Sky is one of my newest freelance writers. So, and then we got Israel down there who is going to help us out and keep everything on track.
Yeah, and you know, when you were saying he's your DVTV host, I was gonna make a ho reference, but I know this is the Dallas Voice, so I don't know what I'm allowed to say or not because we're trying to be professional.
I know. I was kind of like, she wants me to be on the show. Is she sure? Does
So
she
let
know
us
who
know
I
what
am?
we can or cannot
And had
say.
you made that ho reference, honey, you were about 3 inches away from this right hand, so I could easily backhand a fellow ho.
And also Israel down there on the end is our founding video producer for DVTV and still helps us out with that.
That's
Yeah.
right, and I'm so excited that this has finally happened, Tammy,
Me
because
too,
I know
me too.
when I brought you in to take a tour of the studios, and then I showed you the sound studio room and what we were planning on doing, I was hoping that the Dallas Voice would start their show here. So.
And yeah, and I'm really excited. Like I said, this is the first one. I'm new to this, so it's going to take a while, and it's going to look possibly different each week with different people. And but these guys I hope will come in and help out as often as possible.
Listen, anything artistic evolves. You got to start somewhere, and then all about the change is the growth, and
exactly.
we're all about
Yeah,
that.
and you don't need other people, just us.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Every
exactly.
single week.
Well, I'm excited to be a
Sold.
part of the first
Oh.
one, so thank you very much for
I'm glad
thinking
to
of
have
me.
you guys here. And but some of the folks in my office, they're going to get all jealous and insist on coming in too. So
That's fine.
we're going to start
It all happened.
We're going to start out talking a little bit about news, and I'm going to ask Israel down there to keep an eye.
I disagree.
On the
Oh, I'm sorry.
time. Keep an eye on the time for me. I get
I'm so sorry. Yes,
I get carried away.
I'm doing it.
I put it down there in front of you. This story that it's in the Dallas Morning News or on their blog, I think today. What's the guy's name? Walnaw? It's a pastor.
The evangelist, Dallas evangelist.
Lance
yeah.
Wallnow.
Yeah.
Okay, Lance Wallnow told this story on some social media thing about
Do you
a
want-
bar owner who was gay, and
I love hearing that was gay.
he owned this bar, and there was some hookers that used to come in the bar, and one of their regular customers came in and managed to save the hookers, convert them. So they went home and they made a cake and prayed over this cake and anointed the cake and took it in. Let me read this.
Is this a real story?
No, it's a real story.
I mean, it's so unfortunate. It's
Okay,
comedic in its nature.
And Mr. Wallnow, the evangelist, admits this is crazy. I'm not saying this is going to work for you, but some hookers in his bar got saved. So they made this cake. They prayed over it. They anointed the cake, took it in. And this is from the story. The bar owner took a bite, and then boom, the power of God hit him. And he was no longer gay, apparently. It does not say if the hookers are still hooking. But
That was
they
our
managed
question.
to convert.
That was
they
Brandy's first
managed
question.
he's a big Trump supporter. The
Well,
guy's a big
naturally.
Trump
I mean, come on. Like, we were going to be shocked by that little ad in there.
Okay, you cannot write storylines this good.
You really can't.
No.
I want to buy the rights to this
I see
and
a
do
movie in the making,
Oh my
right?
God, this sounds like so much fun.
And this isn't the first thing he's done. Like, he said that he himself, with his prayer, elected Trump, and that he's kept him away from leaks and witchcraft. So
Oh, well, this
this
just gets
is-
even more and more interesting. Okay. Well, here's what's bothersome about this whole thing is that if you're going to make an anointed anything, gay people don't eat cake.
There's too many
They're not going
carbs.
to eat. If you tried to sell me on an anointed lettuce wrap or an anointed vodka soda or even threw in some anointment and an Adderall, I would probably take it because I'm busy, bitch, and I have things to do and I need a tight little body for summer. But a cake, you should rethink your approach with this guy.
I think for Brandy, it's the French fries.
it's French
They're gonna have
fries.
to-
I'm like, any kind of carbs. Yeah.
You know what?
Any
Okay.
kind of carbs.
So my marketing side makes me want to try to convince these people to make lots of cakes and do whatever thing that they did to it, and I will sell them for $50 a slice because if you're able to convert, I'm going to make a killing off of this.
You totally would.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really
let's
would.
do it. And y'all can help me. We can all be at the booth and say, "Turn straight like we did."
I just want. I wish I would have been there for the moment that the cake hit him, and all of a sudden he was anointed. Because all I can imagine is like, you know, when Ursula turns into like, you know, some sort of moment where they're spinning around and then they become something else. Like, I wonder what that looked like. Just a hot ass mess, I'm sure. I don't know.
Well, he was probably well dressed and body and everything, and then did all the swirly stuff, and all of a sudden he's wife beater at a right?
But did he know the cake was anointed by?
Now that's a good question.
Like, I'm curious. Did he know, or was this kind of like, is this a placebo effect, or did he know? Was this like staged? Like, Mike,
have these people been interviewed? I mean, or is it just like a text article? Or
he just told this story.
Okay, this is crazy. I love it.
No, literally, Dallas Morning News just issued a blog post about this as well on the way in here, and so I read it as I was driving. Oh yeah, I mean, come on, as if enough crazies aren't already from here. God, love this city, but right?
Yeah,
I kind of want to meet him and the hookers. Because
you should have him on Don't Panic.
You should.
I want the hookers on Don't Panic.
And the converted guy.
Yeah. All of them. All of them.
The hookers? Wait, the hookers are not converted. They're just no longer.
They're saved. They're saved.
But they're saved.
They're
hookers.
definitely saved.
We don't know if they're still.
See, there's the title: Saved Hookers.
Yeah.
I like it. Eating cake.
The problem with let's just address the elephant in the room is that it's cake, because you know in our world cake also means your buttocks. So you're talking about an anointed buttocks, which now I do want to eat the damn anointed cake because I don't. It's like every angle about this story is a little bit just too much.
Well, if you want to convert Brad, you now know how to do it.
But you know, if people take this guy seriously, you know, and I'm sure some people do.
Yeah.
If there's someone who's questioning their sexuality, especially like a young teen, is that going to bring these teens to this guy? And is this someone that you want, you know, talking to these teens, these people who's you know go and get these hookers to, you know, talk to them about, you know, being saved. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. People are going to take this super seriously, and
I would hope that
they're worried about all the kids eating cake now.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, now
like Brad,
they've screwed up everyone's little birthdays and all the Christmas things. Like, I don't know.
No more cake for me.
This is one of those things, hopefully, where I hope it just goes away in a couple days or a week, and like he just gets out of the limelight that he does not deserve, because he just sounds like a complete buffoon, if you ask me.
Oh, absolutely.
I want to use this somehow. I want to use this anointed cake somehow to make money. I don't know how, but there's something there.
Marketing mind, I love that.
Yeah, because it's catchy.
I already see way too many funny GIFs at this moment with that whole process, that whole thing. I love the anointed cake.
I love it.
Let's move on to something, I hate to do this, something a little more serious now. We've been talking about all the stuff that's going on in the Texas legislature. You know, it's an odd-numbered year. So the Texas legislature is in session, and the LGBT community is in danger because they are in session. That's just the way it happens. There's a lot going on down there this week. It was a rally on Monday, advocacy, All In for Equality Advocacy Day. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about all the different bills that are there, and they were reminding people that, you know, we're all focused on stopping the anti-gay bills, the anti-LGBT bills, but there's something like 39 pieces of legislation between the House and the Senate that are considered positive. There are things about repealing the laws that are on the books, like the homosexual conduct law that's still on the books. And
wait, what's that one? I don't think I know.
You don't understand homosexual conduct?
I mean, yeah, is there a law still like against it?
Yeah, Texas Penal Code 2106, the sodomy law, is still on the books.
Wait, I thought that left like in 04.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No. The Supreme Court tells you it's unconstitutional. It cannot be enforced. It remains on the books. It remains a law in Texas, although it cannot be enforced.
So on certain evenings when I'm at home doing things, I'm like doing something illegal?
Well,
they can't enforce it, so
not really.
So what does that mean?
Unconstitutional. It means if they confirm Mr. Gorsuch and Trump gets another nominee on the court, and they can go back and reverse all these rulings, like Roe v. Wade and the marriage equality.
Texas would be the first.
Yeah, naturally.
Marriage 2106 is still on the books.
And by the way, Tammy, I don't know how you want to handle this or not, but we have less than a minute before we have to take our first break. Would you like me to bring it up before we do each time?
Yeah,
or?
Just like that. Say, hey, it's about time. But since we're about to do that, we'll come back. We'll talk some more. But during the break, you're going to get to see a DVTV video that we filmed last summer. It features Brad Pritchett over there talking with Todrick Hall. Todrick's going to be back in town, And when we come back from the break, Brad is gonna tell us all about Todrick coming back.
And nothing illegal happening in that video that I can remember.
So when we go to the break, you'll see the video, and then we'll come back.
What's up, guys? Brad here, live on stage at the Verizon Theater in Grand Prairie, Texas, where local pop star Todrick Hall will hit the stage, and only a few towns away from where he was born and raised. Todrick came out of the womb entertaining and hasn't stopped since. Singer, dancer, actor, choreographer, YouTube star, logo star, MTV star. The list of his accomplishments goes on and on. And tonight, we have snagged an exclusive backstage sit-down with the man behind the Straight Outta Oz tour to see how does he do it all. What is it specifically about the Wizard of Oz that got you hooked, that got you sort of obsessed with that phenomenon?
I would like to say that there was something like really cool and prolific about the Wizard of Oz that made me just fall in love with it. But at a young age, there was just some strange connection that I had with it. I also just feel like my life is semi-paralleled to Dorothy's because she was always in this like black and white world and wanted to get out and knew that there was something bigger and greater and grander out there that she would like to see and achieve, but didn't know necessarily what it was.
Right.
And then she realized, much like we often do, that the grass is not always greener on the other side.
Nope.
And that what we had was already great to begin with. And I think it's a cool fundamental lesson, and of the three components that I think make a human, like wisdom, love, and courage, are like so strong. So I think I've just, as life has gone on, like much like The Lion King, you watch it when you're a kid and it means one thing, and then you grow up and you're crying for a completely different reason.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the relationship that I've had with the story of the Wizard of Oz.
Okay, so I want to talk about the Straight Outta Oz album and how that came about. How long has this project taken you from start to when you released it a few weeks ago?
It honestly, like, people probably wouldn't believe that because it takes some people 6 months, a year, 2 years to write each one of their albums. But this was one of those things where I was like going through so many like emotional things. Like in this business, there's like so much, in my opinion, there's a lot of racism and a lot of homophobia, a lot of sexism, and a lot of like pinning people into boxes. And a lot of those shows, they still feature mostly white heterosexual characters. And so it bothered me a lot, and I found myself pulling people into a room and holding court and explaining to people why I thought this career and this industry was like unjust and not open enough. And then I realized that no one really cares. At the end of the day, like, you can sit around and talk and talk and talk, and unless you're being about something as opposed to just talking about it, it doesn't really change anything. And so I decided that I wanted to write something that would express the way I felt without it seeming like I was the bitter black guy who was upset that Hollywood wasn't working in my favor. Because some people would argue that I've had a lot of things given to me and I've had a successful career, and it's not really about that. It's more about things that bother me. So I wanted to express that, and there was no better way for me to express that than the story of my life and telling people the downsides of what I do, because a lot of times people in Hollywood only like to project the positive things that happen to them. And I was like, I have all these fans that watch my videos and come to my channel to be happy and dance and sing, but they don't really know anything about the real Todrick and what it took to get to this point, or to make these, you know, videos to get this 360 million views. And so I was just very vulnerable and like wrote about everything, and it took me like 6 weeks from start to finish. And
6 weeks. I hope y'all clock that, because that is a tenth of the time that most people would probably guesstimate that this album took you, which again is your talents at its work right there.
It took about 4 weeks to write the songs and then 2 weeks to do the album, but that was 16 videos. So as you can imagine, 2 weeks to do 16 videos. We were shooting multiple videos some days, and people were editing them simultaneously while we were reshooting videos. And some videos we shot that didn't even make the album because I just didn't feel like they were at the same level. So it was a huge undertaking, and there was a lot of times where I was like, I don't even know if we're gonna be able to do this. But my team is just amazing, and it wouldn't have been possible without them. And they were like pushing me, and you know, we would get so many people involved that agreed to do it. The celebrities like Jordan Sparks and Wayne Brady.
That's what I find so amazing. I'm sure the people watching as well. It's like how you get all those people sort of wrapped around this project, and then you make it happen so quickly. It's so impressive.
I honestly don't know. I still, like last night, I was talking to Wayne Brady 2 nights ago, and I was like, I don't even know why you agreed to do this, because none of them knew the concept of the whole thing. They just knew very limited details about the song that they were doing. And in some cases, Jordan Sparks agreed to do the song, and it wasn't even written yet. She was like, I'm gonna come to the studio and I'm just gonna sing it. And she was sick and was like, I can't sing a lot. So I was like, I'm gonna rap, and then I catered the song to them. And then last minute I asked Joseph Gordon-Levitt to do it, and I was like, it's gonna be a no for sure. And I sent him some of the videos that we had done, and he was like, I can do it, but I only have a 3-hour time slot. So we came to the studio, learned the song, recorded it in 30 minutes, got to the location and shot for 2 hours, which is unheard of.
That's great. It's funny because you made a name for yourself, and these people trust the work that you're doing is gonna be legit.
Well, thank you, I appreciate that, but this was kind of a little bit, some of the music and the subject matter of some of the songs could be considered controversial, and so I was a little bit semi-concerned about people going in blindly, not knowing the subject matter of the piece, but every single one of the people involved wrote me and was like, I'm so glad and honored to be a part of it, and that's just like the dream situation that you could be in.
So if you haven't watched and listened to the Straight Outta Oz album, first of all, wake up from that rock you've been sleeping under, hunty, and watch and listen, because it'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. It'll make you dance. It'll make you find yourself and think about finding yourself and then cry about that and everything in between. So I have a question though. Was the tour always a part of this process, or was that something, because you've done that for the last couple of years with different shows, that you're like, oh, I'm going to take this on tour now?
No, it was actually a very backwards way of doing the tour. The train had already left the station. So I decided like months and months ago that I wanted to do a Wizard of Oz themed tour. We were gonna do a tour that featured my YouTube videos and tell the story of the Wizard of Oz, which would have been cute, and I think the audience would have liked it. And it was actually an accident. I wrote the opening trailer song to Straight Outta Oz, and my friends were like, this is really cool and dark and eerie, and I think you should go more in this direction. And my best friend Blair was one of those people that was like, she called me, and normally she just sends me a text message that's like, it's cute, it's an emoji, and then
that'll work, yes.
And she called me and was like, this is so dope, and I just had to call you and let you know that this is like, you're an artist, but the Wizard of Oz is combined in it. And because they liked it so much and people connected to this 45-second long clip, I was like, maybe I should run in this direction. And so me being the overachiever that I am, eventually was like, I'm gonna write a full-on musical.
Just all the things, all the things. So many fans out there, so many projects you sort of have your hands on. What can people expect to see next from you once this tour is over?
Well, I can't say everything, can't say too much, but I will like just kind of like paraphrase it and try to beat around the bush a little bit. I'm gonna go back to Broadway. I'm gonna go back to Broadway. I miss being on Broadway so much, and being in LA has been really awesome, but I've worked with people who can't even remember their lines for a script because they're just so used to being able to deliver one line to one camera angle and then learn their other lines. And every time I go to New York and watch people perform on Broadway and perform live 8 shows a week, there's just nothing like it. And to me, the people in New York are like the consummate professionals. They're just so devoted to what they do in their art form, and they're the real deal. There's no smoke and mirrors, unless it's like legitimately
smoke and mirrors.
But the fact that they are just so dedicated to what they do is just so awesome, and I can't wait to be back around that energy because those people challenge me so much.
I love it. Okay, New York, he's coming back for you. Okay, I'd like to wrap up with a little game I call Clapback Call with Toddy Hall. The name of the game is I'm going to ask you 10 questions. Okay. And I need you to clap back. I need you to give me the first answer that comes to mind. Okay. No time to think about it, okay? Got it. Favorite celebrity that you have worked with?
Beyonce.
Least favorite celebrity you've worked with?
Michelle Visage.
Oh, okay.
That's not true, but I don't know.
We don't have time to explain it though. Okay, favorite city to tour in?
Philadelphia.
Least favorite city you've ever performed in?
Vancouver.
Oh, snap. Okay, favorite song to perform in this show right now?
Colors.
The song you dread when it comes up, you're like, oh.
Lying to Myself.
Okay, Lying to Myself. Okay, on an airplane, are you aisle or are you window?
Window.
Favorite food?
Pizza.
Guilty pleasure?
Nicole Richie, Simple Life.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Big or little spoon?
Big.
Favorite ex-boyfriend?
Brad Pritchett.
Yes! You heard it correctly. Okay, I'd like to finally wrap up with a message from you to the camera, to your fans. Watching us right now, watching you right now. You have such a loyal fan base, so what would you like to tell them?
I would just like to say, I mean, this sounds really cliche, but thank you so much for believing in me. There have been so many moments in my life where I have not believed in myself, and I've literally turned to Twitter and the people that have become my friends on the internet to keep pushing forward, because without you guys sharing and liking and favoriting and posting my pictures on Facebook walls of people who didn't want to see my videos, I wouldn't be able to tour and make a living doing what I do. So thank you so much for believing in me and thank you to the parents who allow your kids to come and support me. This is something that years ago people might not have been able to go and watch a gay African-American man perform on stage, and I'm just so grateful that that's a non-issue these days, and that people are bringing their kids to come and watch entertainment, and that is something that's not even brought up, and I'm so grateful for that, and I'm so happy that you guys allow me to perform and share my gifts with you.
Thank you so much, fellas, for coming to see Stream5.
To check out this Todrick magic in person, simply visit todrickhall.com for a full listing of Straight Outta Oz city dates and tour places. So, as always, from DVTV to you, send us an email if you have any entertainment news suggestions from the local scene to your computer screen. Until next time, I'm Brad.
I love that kind of comeback.
Okay, we're back, and we're going to start out. You just watched the DVTV interview last summer with Todrick Hall, and now Brad is going to talk a little bit more.
Brad.
Oh my gosh. Guys, I promise I'll get out of your hair. I'll probably have to leave early. Anyways, no, that video that you just saw was a segment we produced last summer at the, what is the one in Grand Prairie? Nokia, Verizon? I always forget. They change the names.
Change the name.
Yeah, all the time. Anyways, he was here doing his tour last summer. And then straight from that tour, once it ended, he went to Broadway and performed in the leading role of Kinky Boots. And sales just skyrocketed for that show when he was there. And
he's making such a great name for himself.
Oh my gosh, the man! I mean, I have better luck getting a hold of someone in the witness protection program than I do him, because every time I call, he's like, I can't, just call me back later. He's busy, but that's a good thing. And speaking of busy, he's going back on tour with his Straight Outta Oz visual album that's starting this Saturday. Actually, New York is his first theater, and she don't stop, honey. She is literally going all across the world. They've added so many different tours in this year. They're going to Italy and Germany and just global. And that goes all the way through June. So it's basically the remount of his show last summer. They've added a couple new songs in, but it's a live representation of his visual album, Straight Outta Oz. And so he's redoing some of those videos now and just sort of calling it the Straight Outta Oz deluxe version. So he's making them even bigger and better, even more celebrity presence. And the boy just doesn't sleep, quite frankly. I mean, he doesn't know how to sit down for 5 minutes. So if he has an extra 5 cents and 5 hours, he's going to do a video. He shot all of those videos in that visual album within 2 weeks. That's just, that's unheard of. That's unheard of.
That's what makes a great artist, though. I mean, you know, that nonstop creativity, like going from that's the kind of stuff, that's the hustle.
That's the hustle and bustle that they like.
Yeah. I mean, I like it.
And these aren't, and these aren't just like simple videos like, hey, a one shot and this and that one's in the can. No, these are, extensive, intricate and choreography and the crazy outfits. I just recently, yesterday, saw the one that he did with RuPaul.
Yeah.
That one's excellent. I love that one.
I think that's beautiful. Back. It's at number 19 now. So it's in top 20. It's in top 20. That's crazy that they get to share that together. It really is. It really is.
So Brad, do you think it might be possible to get him on one of these DVTV shows?
Absolutely. In fact, he's going to be here in Dallas on April 30th, I believe, as his Dallas stop for his tour. And I'm sure we can get him in here.
I'd love that.
Yeah, I say that. We'll see. We'll see, though. If anything, we can get him to call in if he's busy or if he's doing sound check or something that day. So we'll see. That'll be fun, though.
That would be great.
He's
what
an
else
awesome
is going
artist.
On? We're going to talk news again later, but tell us right now what else is going on. What kind of events?
There are so many different things going on in just the city as far as arts and entertainment goes. I mean, I think, Brandy, you went and saw a show last night. Yeah.
I went to my first Total Creek Chorale concert, and I was totally blown away. Like, I didn't know what to expect. Like, I knew it was going to be good.
Right.
I mean, because I had heard. I mean, I worked at the Resource Center. Like, GC, But I still, even knowing, I didn't know how amazing it was going to be. And so when I got in there, I always like to feel the audience. If the audience is driving with the show, then I know it's going to be good. And, they went through the list of rules and the whole experience. What I loved about this being my first show is that they didn't give you the song names. So it's intentionally blurred. Like the whole set list is intentionally blurred because Sean wants to take the audience on an experience. So he doesn't want you necessarily thinking, oh, I love this song, this is going to come next, because the whole idea of this Topsy-Turvy is that they're taking songs, like classic songs that we love, and rearranging them into something new. And it's so spectacular that he doesn't want you looking at the set list and going, oh, I like this song, and so I can't wait to hear it because it's so different. And it blew my expectation out of the water. And I wrote this in the review. What I love about going to community events is that it's always just more than the event itself. It's always about a connection within the community, about, advocacy. There's always a bigger presence than the art itself, and that makes the art even deeper. Does that make,
Nice.
Now, you did run a review for us. It's on DallasVoice.com. So it's under the Instant Tea section. So go read that. It's very good.
And just out of curiosity, as going for someone, instead of just being a spectator, you're actually writing a review. Do you see it differently?
I try. They sent me the set list before. They're like, in case you want to know what's going on, and I'm like, no. Like, as an artist, it's very important to me to keep the artistic integrity of whoever designed the show. And so I wanted to go in there and experience. It was a little weird because I had to remove myself from the experience to like jot down notes so I didn't forget. But I did a lot of it during the intermission, so I got to keep the whole.
Got it.
The feel and the vibe of the show.
And what I love about that is I really get into art in general, but especially when it's sort of experiential. Mm-hmm. And so what I think, I have to talk about this. So, my full-time job is marketing director for Dallas Theater Center. And I must say, shameless plug here, that what we have next in our season lineup will be unlike anything that the DFW audiences have ever seen. So we're doing Electra, which is a Greek tragedy, but Kevin Moriarty, our artistic director, the man has so much creative genius. It's ridiculous. He has staged this production outside, and it's taking place throughout the AT&T Performing Arts Center. Basically,
I love that.
How cool is that, right? So similar to, but not to be compared to, Sleep No More in New York. Where it's an experience. So it is. You are in the middle of it. You are walking around. You have earbuds in your the audio is piped into earbuds. The actors are sort of in your face, and you walk through all the different moments and these tableaus and these scenes throughout the actual park itself, and then you end at the reflecting pool in front of the Wind-Spirit Opera House. It's less than an hour, my kind of theater, honey. So you are in and out. There's no intermission. You go get a drink beforehand, and you're under the Dallas skyline in this beautiful spring weather, not too hot, not too cold.
That sounds really amazing.
How cool is that, right?
Okay, now just out of curiosity, and not to ruin the beautifulness of all of this, but what happens if it rains that night?
That's a great question. As marketing director, I take 3 Xanax a day, so I don't have to think about that shit.
Don't send that juju.
No,
I know.
Yeah, could you actually take that juju back? No, honestly, we have a rain plan. We have contingency plans, and we're treating it like a baseball game. So if it's lightly raining, we have ponchos that we'll give our audience, and we warn them ahead of time with all of our marketing messages. Yeah, hey, girl, not your cousin.
Oh,
yes.
I'm like, I want to go if Poncho's going to be there.
Did we not tell you that Poncho's is going to be handing out the ponchos? Branded poncho with DVTV. No, just all the things combined. No, we'll cancel the show, and we have performances at the back end of the run that we can place them into, or they can literally transfer their ticket to any time throughout the rest of the run of the show. But we are doing the opposite of rain dances. We just want it to stay away, please.
All right, tell everybody when that starts and what the dates are.
The first show will be April 4th, and then we have a week of previews, and it runs all the way through the middle of May, so May 21st, I believe.
Okay, and Brandy, tell us about Turtle Creek Corral. We have 2 more performances, is that right?
Yes, there's a performance tonight, so if you haven't, I think there's tickets still available, so if you haven't gotten your tickets, you definitely need to either make it tonight or tomorrow night.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
7:30 at
7:30 Dallas Performance Hall.
City Performance Hall.
City Performance Hall. And I think it's really interesting. You talked about how it's experimental art, and I think that's part of it. And at Topsy Turvy, they were trying to get you out of the reality, because the reality is just so tragic right now. And so I love the fact that art is going in this experimentation. They're trying to create an experience because you need to step out of this that's happening.
Yeah.
Okay. Real quick, we're gonna have to go to break again, but we've got another DVTV video coming up for you. And Brad, tell us about the one from Scarborough Fair last year.
Yeah, boy, was this an experience. So
I was included in this one, so you can watch this.
Yes.
Was
So
it your first time?
We did this together.
we did. Israel and I had never been to Scarborough Fair during the year when it's actually Scarborough Fair. I had been out there, during the, I guess it's called Screams for the haunted Halloween season. Well, we went, and they gave us the full treatment. I spent the entire day out there, Israel and myself, and actually actually one of my buddies, Aaron. And we did anything and everything from ride the horses. We ate the turkey legs. We drank the mead.
In costume the entire time.
Well, honey, I'm extra. I'm not going to go out there in street clothes, girl. I mean, when you ask me if I want to put on a dress and a little something, I'm going to say, well, all right, teammates. And I'm going to put on the damn costume.
Right.
So, no, we did that. And I was in full regalia. And with this segment, you'll get to see a little bit of the fun that we had together that day.
Okay, we're going to go to break, watch the video. We'll be back.
What's up, everyone? Brad here, and I am like a little kid in a candy shop at the moment, or should I say a villager in a 16th century festival. Either way, I am so excited because today, DVTV is taking you right in the middle of the action at the Scarborough Fair Renaissance Festival. From sword plays to turkey legs and over 200 events to do in between, we've got you covered. So, what are we waiting for? Shall we? So currently I'm standing inside the costume rental facility where patrons can stop by and pick something out.
What is this you're wearing?
This is Zara. Is that what's the problem?
No, you're not dressed appropriately. We must get you in a costume. You can't.
Oh, I'm good with the streetwear today. I think we'll be good with this.
No, my lord, I have something wonderful for you.
Oh. Kind of digging this. You can call me Sir Sassalot. I am in the mode of role playing today. Hello, welcome to Scarborough Fair. Cut. Okay, no, that's a little bit too high. Okay, how about, hi y'all, welcome to Scarborough Fair, y'all. That's like Paula Deen.
That's a bit Lubbock.
That's a little bit south.
Lubbock. Okay, so let me go more like, hello, welcome to Scarborough Fair. That's it.
That's
it.
wonderful.
I felt that one.
I am actually trans, female to male, and Scarborough is the first community that I've able to be completely open, completely honest. I came out in the audition and said, this is my situation. I'll play what you would like me to play and what is needed, but I would like to play to my gender, and they've let me.
I'm male to female, transgender, and I am actually kind of an old hand. I was on cast out here about 20 years ago, and then I came back after coming out. And so there was sort of a mixed bag of people who had never met me before, and those that knew me before. And it was a seamless transition back into being an actor. And we're all here for one purpose, and that sort of unifies everyone.
The one unifying factor is everyone here, no matter who they are, no matter what their walk of life, is free to be themselves, and it is extremely, extremely liberating.
Well, I write what I describe as wildly inappropriate poetry, so,
What's your reputation around the grounds here?
I'm not a very well-liked person at all. What I do is I tell my audience that we will applaud them for leaving the show. We honor them for having better judgment and for endowing the space with some level of dignity.
If you can't take the heat, get out. Okay, so why don't you give us a little bit of a sample of your work?
How far do you want me to go with this one?
All the damn way.
Tavern floor Tina, thou fen-sucking whore, with a mouth to be damned and a tongue to abhor. When your meat meets her mouth, well, it's meat mouth galore. Ah, tavern floor Tina, there's a worm in your core. She'll give your poor bone every pound that she's got, then she'll slather your dome till your tonsils are hot. You'll need time all alone just to burp up the clot. Oh, tavern floor Tina, I'd just as soon not.
That's from Psalms, isn't it?
Yes, I believe.
We're inside my costume tent, which I travel with all over the country doing these festivals, and I set up this tent and all my costumes are hanging in here.
So how long does it take you to get in a different character and come out of a character?
Well, that's the thing, as someone who came from the sort of underground drag world in the East Village in the 80s, I was used to a whole sort of drag environment, and this is taking it out across the prairie, you know.
So you do these festivals all over. So this is a year-round thing for you? Do you get some time off?
In the winter, November, December, January is my downtime.
Puppeteer needs some Christmas, honey.
Yeah, well, it's the time to work in my studio and, you know, refresh costume. You know, I wear these out so that things get replaced and rebuilt or new concepts.
I was surprised that butterfly was going through those trees, and she's sturdy.
Oh, she is. She's an iron butterfly.
She really is. I was impressed with that work.
That butterfly is actually part of a whole fleet of butterflies that the other ones are used in Mardi Gras parades in New Orleans.
Yeah, we run Scarborough Renaissance Festival 8 weeks every year, and it's in the spring, and we run during the months of April and May, always ending on Memorial Day. We have 23 different stages with over 200 performances every day of the festival. On the artisan side, we have 200 shops, artisan demonstrations, plus we have lane performers and then 150 members of our performing company here to entertain you as you make your visit to Scarborough.
So we have the turkey leg of all turkey legs, and then what is this special go-go juice in front of me?
This is actually mead, and mead is a honey wine, and this particular brand is actually made here in Texas specifically for Scarborough Renaissance Festival, and so it is Scarborough mead.
And there's booze in this, folks. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and but this is made specifically for the festival and shipped into us every season, and again, the fact that it's Texas made makes us very proud.
How many meads to get turned?
It depends on your tolerance level.
A turkey leg is intimidating because there's just so many people out there that just use it as a pointer stick and they just let it go everywhere and it's messy, but I gotta have a bite of this. Hang on. Jesus. Well, now I'm hanging out with some of the featured dancers with the Belly Dance Treasures troupe. And as you can see, we left no stone unturned at this wonderful festival. Bring your lord, your lady, your bae, your boo, your entire family, and check out what this festival has to offer. You can visit srfestival.com to learn more. And as always, if you have any entertainment news suggestions, shoot us an email at dallasvoice.com. From the local scene to your computer screen. Until next time, I'm Brad. All right, let's get out of here. I'm going to keep this
Okay. We're back. We're back now, having all the fun during the break that y'all don't get to see. But we talked about all the funny stuff and crazy stuff, seen some videos. Now let's talk a little bit about some more serious news. I mentioned earlier that there was a rally in Austin on Monday. I was down there taking some photos and some notes, wrote a story. It's in the paper today. You can see it online. But one of the main things, they talked a lot about the different legislation. We talked about the fact that the Texas sodomy law is still on the books. You know, it's still there. And if something happens to the Supreme Court and they can overturn that ruling about the sodomy law, they could overturn the marriage ruling, they could overturn all these things that prohibited us from being us are still on the books here in Texas. And so there are bills to overturn some of those things. There are bills prohibiting discrimination in housing and employment. This was, I think, is kind of funny. There's a bill that would keep the state from contracting with vendors from states where they don't have LGBT rights in place or where they have anti-gay bills that they're passing, so we wouldn't be able to contract with ourselves if some of the stuff passes. So there are a lot of positive bills. You can go to equalitytexas.org and look under the legislation links and find out everything that's there. You can go to the Texas Legislature website and get an update on all the bills. But let's talk about the bad stuff that's out there. There's bills in the Senate and in the House that are calling them religious freedom bills, but really what they are is let me discriminate because Jesus told me to.
Yeah.
Bills, there's several out there, and we don't want that to happen because we could have all of the good legislation in place, and it's not going to help us because we have legislation that lets people discriminate based on religion.
Well, I have a question about that. Excuse me. If someone is a business owner and they say, no, because you're a part of the LGBT community, I cannot serve you because God told me that wasn't right. Could I 2 seconds later say, well, no, God told me that you have to.
Well,
so what happens at that moment?
At that moment, don't argue. God told them that they don't have to serve you.
You're the customer at that point, so they don't have to give you any service.
But when they come here and want to record their Christian music video, you can say, "Oh, I'm sorry, God told me no."
Right.
You know?
Oh, I plan on it. I have a questionnaire and everything. I posted it on Facebook.
Lucifer,
there you go.
Lord and Master Lucifer, that's my religion. And he said, no, I can't serve Christians.
Right.
I think it's really interesting because it's not necessarily God or Jesus that's saying, to discriminate and hate. It's the interpreter. Right. And so I think, that's the line that people don't see, is that it's not this higher being that's saying, it's the people that are interpreting all of these books in a way that suits them, and that's discrimination. I mean, that's discriminatory.
Exactly right.
Absolutely, because someone could take the same passage or whatever that is that they're reading and have a completely different interpretation, and they will serve you just fine.
And they could be proselytizing, their own vision. So it's that line, and that I think is so important to understand.
I just think it's so important with the political climate being what it is. Since Trump took office, quite frankly, so many people come to me, and I even find myself wondering, how can I help? What can I do? And outside of writing letters and rallying, I think knowledge is power. And so I think you sharing equalitytexas.org is important, because I think we are on the forefront for the fight for the LGBT community. So the more we know, the better we can equip people who perhaps don't know the list of 30 some odd bills that are in place, the bad and the good. And when I'm sitting at dinner with some of my family who are Trump supporters and they bring something up, I should, as a gay man, I should know how to sort of, combat that or to even reply to some of that, because a lot of it is just, they're not educated on what it is that we're struggling and fighting for.
Exactly. They don't read Dallas Voice. But the main focus this week was at the rally this week was on SB 6, which is the bathroom bill. Was at the rally. You've got some photos if you want to flash them up and people can see some images from the rally.
I can't believe this is still a thing.
I know, my God.
We're still talking about this. Like, what?
I mean, I feel like we've just recently gone through this, wasn't it? Just a couple of years ago, and now it's back with no incident to
nothing.
To spark it. It's just.
And it was a couple of years ago, because they were talking about this the last time Texas was in session. And you'd think they would stop and look at North Carolina. They had their House bill that they enacted a year ago this month, and it's just devastated so much about their economy and about their reputation and all those other things. You'd think they would stop and say, well, hey, we don't want to do that here. But no, they keep insisting that that's not really happening. It's not true. It's as good for us.
Well, didn't
they're protecting women.
A major basketball event pull from North Carolina?
The NCAA, National it's college athlete, not just basketball. All of their championship games have been removed from North Carolina. They can't, and the ACA, which is a different college.
And they keep saying, well, this is for protection, from your
Predators.
kids and everything. And there's still no cases documented that this has ever happened. This has never been a thing. Absolutely. Yeah. If something was happening and there was some trend going on, a terrible trend of something like this happening, I would semi understand and say, okay, well then how can we fix this? But there has not been one case.
No.
That's the thing. And
that's what kills me.
You've got the story there.
Yeah, and so what kills me is what I am so sick of, and I feel like right now, is just the beat down, and I mean that physically as well, on the transgender community. It's ridiculous, and it gets me so fired up. And this these bathroom issues are so asinine, and it ties into what I feel like at the moment is just this horrible growing trend of not only transgender abuse, but quite frankly, I mean, murder. We have a story here. Alfonso Watson, 38, was shot in the stomach in the early hours Wednesday morning, and this is in Baltimore, and it's the 8th reported incident of a trans woman being killed so far in 2000 of color.
That's extremely important.
Absolutely.
They're trans women of color.
In 2017, and just so far in this year, which just started. That's horrible.
Yeah. Last year there was a record number of trans people who were murdered. It was 27 that we know of, and that's in the United States, y'all. We're not even talking about outside this country. There's a video that's trending.
I saw that. Yeah, I couldn't watch the video, but I saw it on my feed, and I'm like,
heartbreaking and
What
horrifying.
kind of mentality do you have to have that you're standing there and recording this physical, like, who does that? Like,
in Brazil.
If that were happening in front of me, like, I would get involved. Like, there's no way
How could
that
you
I would
sit there and
stand
watch it?
there
Yeah.
and just record it. Like, it
blows my mind.
just
It blows my mind.
That's the horrifying thing about these bills. I mean, they're saying we're protecting women and children. They're not. And what they're doing is turning animosity towards transgender people.
But they're also turning their fear into a reality, because when you see these transgender men who were female to male, like Angel Martinez was here on the show talking about
Angel's
it,
wonderful,
big,
yeah.
buff, tatted up, those are the people that you want in your little girl's bathroom? I mean, not that Angel will do anything. I'm just saying, physically looking at that, it does not belong. It's because they are ignorant to it. They need education on what it means to be transgender.
They need an enemy.
Yes.
Look back through history, back in, the 50s when we had the Red Scare and, Hoover and Roy Cohn and all those guys. But so
you need a
they're turning
demon,
it on.
and when you need a demon, you also need somebody to help, and it's always women and children. Like, it's always like women and children are the reason why we're doing this. The women and children. Well, you know what? Have the women and children speak for themselves. Like, if you're so concerned, where were all the women when Trump was talking about health, women's health? Like, where are the women? You're so concerned about women and children. Where's our presence?
Right.
Where are we?
Are we out of time already?
Yeah, we have 30 seconds left on this.
30 seconds left. All right, everybody introduce yourselves down there.
Oh,
Israel.
30. Actually, we have 30 seconds, and then we can cut to a break, and then you have one last closing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, perfect. Well, I should mention that you can get your tickets to Elektra on DallasTheaterCenter.org, because I did not. I was so excited about talking about the damn show. I didn't mention how to get your tickets to the show. Brandy reminded me of that when she mentioned how to get Turtle Creek tickets. So there we go.
All right, we're going to go to a break. We'll be back to wrap it all up.
Sorry.
Okay, we're about to wrap everything up for this week. Time flies when you're having fun. I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves. We'll start with Israel down there.
Hi, Israel Luna here, owner and operator of Spayse Studios, Spayse, spacestudios.com.
And
Hi.
he has Don't Panic.
Oh, that's right.
I'm trying to cut off. I was like, and
And he has Don't Panic. On
I have
3 to
my
4.
show, Don't Panic with Israel Luna, airs every Friday at 3 o'clock.
Now then.
But you do
The
so much
queen.
more. I swear you do so many things, like Mr.
Don't tell anybody.
Film extraordinaire. I am Brad Pritchett. I am, as we mentioned earlier, the DVTV host. Also, the director of marketing for Dallas Theater Center. On the board of trustees for Black Tie Dinner. Do some work for Channel 8 as well. And just happy to be here. And we want to hear from you. Send us ideas to talk about at dallasvoice.com, please.
Busy. I'm Brandy Amarsky, and I'm a freelance writer. I just recently got on board with a Dallas Voice, but you can also, I do op-eds and essays for Global Grind, and I write for BET.com. So I'm writing a memoir, so I'm really excited to be here. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit, real quick about your own art you do.
Oh, I'm a female drag artist, so I'm a faux queen is what they're called. So I'm a cisgendered woman who performs gay male drag. And so I was the first Diva US of A, and I kind of started the movement, hopefully, here in Dallas. So
I love that.
I perform too, so drag.
Nice.
And we love drag.
Yes.
And I'm Tammy Nash. I'm the managing editor for Dallas Voice and Voice Publishing, which includes Out North Texas, which has Todrick Hall on the cover this year, and DVTV. So
You're a
look for
busy
us
woman as well.
Oh, yeah. Look for us online, dallasvoice.com. Pick up a copy of the paper and come back here next week. Watch us live in our second episode of DVTV.
Yes.
Around 4 o'clock, right?
In space.
Set your alarms, 4 o'clock. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Yes,
Ish.
that's right.
Something
Yes.
like that.
Original OGs.
All right, good. Thank y'all.
Have a
Thank
good
y'all
week.
Till
so
next
much.
time,
Have a great
bye, y'all.
weekend.
All right.
That was fun.
1 hour just isn't long enough, really.
It
know.
really does. You think like, oh my God, what are we going to talk about for an hour? And then you realize it's like a round table discussion. And you're like, oh,
Well, I think it helps when you
Absolutely.
have multiple guests because
Yeah.
with one topic you have people discussing it, so it lasts longer than you think.
Yeah.
So you don't need a whole ton of subjects.
Yeah, no, that is really true though. You really, you don't need.
Narrow it down next time. So.
Yeah. And it also makes some of the topics fun because then we make it funny and say funny comments. So it doesn't
Exactly.
really have to